As Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu wraps up his US tour, let's take a look at the latest developments in Gaza. The Israeli army says its forces are still battling Hamas fighters in the southern city of Khan Yunis. Thousands of civilians were ordered to leave the city on Monday for a coastal tent encampment Israel describes as a humanitarian zone. The Israeli military said it had destroyed several tunnels and killed more than 100 militants since its latest operation in Khan Yunis began. Hamas said its fighters were retaliating with machine guns, mortars and anti-tank weapons. It's been nearly 10 months since the devastating Hamas-led attacks triggered the ongoing war in Gaza. Days after the attack, the BBC spoke to Israeli peace activist Maoz Inon, who lost both parents on October 7th. Mr. Inon and Palestinian peace activist Aziz are currently in Washington trying to forge a coalition for peace. They spoke to me earlier with their reflections on the war. Maoz, last time you were here, you spoke to my colleague Helena. It was a very difficult time. You had just lost your parents after the October 7th attack. If we can just have a listen to what you said then.
I must tell you that I'm not crying for my parents. I'm crying for those who are going to lose their life in this war. We must stop the war.
It was clearly a very emotional time, yet you spoke there about the need to try and stop the war. And I'm just curious now, several months on, how do you think progress is going?
First, I lost my parents, but I won a brother, and I won a partner and a friend, Aziz. And we came here to DC to say 3 words. Peace is possible. Peace is possible. And because our politicians lost their political imagination or leadership to take us to the promised land, to take us to peace, we have decided to step in and to start a peace process that would be led by the people. And this is exactly what we came here to DC. We met with a representative of the House, we met with a State Department official, and we came to share with them our radical vision of hope, of reconciliation, and how we can achieve peace.
And Aziz, your story is your own brother, Taysir, was 19 when he died of his injuries after being in an Israeli prison. You were just 10 at the time. Like Maoz, you have said that you were not seeking vengeance. I wonder, though, how many people do you think are like both of you and who feel the way you both do?
Many people are like us. Look, I reached out to Maoz after his parents were killed because I understand the pain of somebody who loses their loved ones because of this madness, of believing that only through violence, only through killing each other, we actually can come to a solution. I think many people who are like us, the problem today is that many of those people have lost faith in politicians that can lead us out of the mess we are in, that can end the occupation, that can build a better future. And so when you ask people, do you believe peace is possible? They say no, not because they don't want peace, but because they don't see leadership. And that's where the two of us have stepped in. Why many similar people to us have stepped in and said, if our politicians are not going to do it, then we will model the way of how to do it. Look at Maoz, look at me, both of us lost family members. We are here to say, if we can do it, then our politicians better put their acts together, or they have to leave and let us do it.
From the reaction you're getting, it sounds like there is appetite for your message, that there is a clear desire for that. And yet, what will it take to move beyond words into action? If I can put that to both of you.
Yes, exactly. So we must amplify the voices of peace. We must shout out, we must cry, we must talk to everyone that peace is possible, and by that changing the discourse. The second is to build our legitimacy and the legitimacy of our movement. We are here just representing the movement of Israelis and Palestinians that are working together now to achieve peace. So to legitimate peace can be made with the support of the State Department official, with the representative of the House, with the administration, the current administration, and the next administration. And we came here to build the relationship, to build partnership, to tell them we on the ground are committed to peace. And the third is to policy change. We must change policy from only tools of destruction to tools of construction.
We cannot achieve peace alone without the help of international support. And the help isn't saying, oh, we're only going to support one side against the other. That is not going to solve it. We need support, as Maoz said, for reconciliation. I'll give one small example. We were in Italy a couple months back, and we met with Pope Francis, who embraced us, hugged us, and then asked, how can I help you? And we said, we want you to be our ambassador. We would like you, when you go to the G7 meeting, to be the spokesperson for us. If we, the peacemakers, not invited, you become our ambassador. And he did. And he forced or brought our words to the G7. And it was in the final communique that they did, that peacemakers must be on the table, we cannot continue to marginalize them and say, oh, we're going to have peace without talking to peacemakers. It hasn't worked and will never work. That civil society are important, that the way forward is conflict resolution, not conflict management. This idea we can manage the situation for another 100 years, that doesn't work. When you manage it, you end up with people like us who lost family members. And if the Pope was willing to do it, everyone, a politician, any person who's listening to us now can be part of this movement, not only by praying for us, having good thoughts for us, by being actively willing to support us and standing with us.
What does that look like? I mean, you said the US plays an important role here. This week we heard Joe Biden pressing Netanyahu for a quick deal and securing hostage releases. But there wasn't talk of a longer future or a solution.
So this is exactly what the vision we came here to present, that we must talk about the long term, about a lasting peace, not just about a ceasefire. And we must make it into an action, into a concrete plan. And those who believe that bombs will bring security and war will bring safety, they are naive, because they've been failing again and again in all the last 20 years in the war that was waging in Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria and Libya. Those wars didn't bring any security and safety to no one. They just caused chaos and suffering. And the only way to reach security and safety to the people of Israel is only if there will be security and safety to the people of Palestine and vice versa.
Aziz, is there a moment where you can see this war ending? How and what would that look like?
I think the moment the war will end, what we need is, on the Palestinian side, we need to reimagine our political structure. We need a new leadership in Palestine, not just in Israel, the Palestinian Authority. We need elections again. We have not, people like me, and I'm not that young, have had not a chance to vote for our own leaders. So those are the things that are important on the Palestinian side, to restructure and then to work together. The division that we have today within Palestine needs to end, and then Israelis and Palestinians have to come together to work toward a lasting peace. And honestly, it doesn't matter where the border is exactly going to go. What matters is we come to an end that is based on equality, based on dignity, based on justice. Those are the things that matter. And that will make us be able to get to a final agreement that is acceptable to everyone.